This morning, Arvada Fire is mourning the death of one of its firefighters, Kyle Trombley. He passed away Sunday after suffering injuries in a car accident. We haven't been given many more details about the accident that happened while Trombley was off duty. He was a 13-year member of the fire department. Trombley was 34 years old.
More than 3 years have passed since 10 people were killed at the Table Mesa King Soopers in Boulder. Families of the victims see this as a start to their journey to justice. The trial for the man at the center of this case is set to begin this morning. That shooting happened in March of 2021, and it can still be pretty hard to hear about to this day. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live from the Boulder County Justice Center. And Courtney, this case has been delayed for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Jordan and Corey. The case has been delayed for more than 2 years, but jury selection is set to start today, a process that's likely to take a while. The man accused of charged with killing 10 people at the Table Mesa King Soopers in 2021, Ahmad Alyssa, pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, though his attorneys have acknowledged he was the shooter. He was first deemed not competent to proceed to trial that year. Then the shooter spent 2 years in treatment, which included forced medication at the Colorado Mental Health Institute in Pueblo. After all that, his competency was restored last fall, with the judge overseeing the case calling his mental health, quote, tenuous. Then came the not guilty plea. Now the burden will fall to prosecutors to prove not only that he committed the crimes, but that he was not insane when he did. The shooter is charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder after deliberation, meaning that he thought about and intended to cause the deaths. For the families of the victims, the delays in court have been frustrating.
You know, it's going to be a very hard and emotional time for me and my family when we have to hear the details of my niece's murder, you know, and the other 9 victims.
This week, prospective jurors will come in and fill out questionnaires that will then be turned over to the prosecution and defense. On September 3rd, attorneys will begin questioning prospective jurors in person, and we could hear opening statements as early as September 5th. Live in Boulder, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Yeah, these delays have been so hard for the families. Courtney, thank you. Today, state lawmakers are heading back to work for a special session. This is the second one in less than a year. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning, and for a second time in less than a year, the topic is property taxes. They're working to stop 2 property tax ballot issues from appearing on November's ballot. Those ballot issues would limit future property tax increases. One of the ballot issues, if passed, could cost the state $2 to $3 billion. Money the state would have to pay to backfill local governments and school districts that would be getting fewer dollars from your property taxes. In exchange for lawmakers reducing your tax increases a little more, the conservative group behind those 2 ballot issues will remove them from the ballot. Director of the Special District Association warns that without an even better backfill solution from lawmakers, the lack of funding would be catastrophic for rural hospital districts in Yuma and Meeker, and that libraries and parks and rec districts in several counties would have to cut services. This latest special session will last until at least Wednesday because it takes at least 3 days for a bill to get to the governor's desk.
Today, Aurora City Council is holding a vote on whether to confirm the city's new pick for police chief. Former Los Angeles Police Commander Todd Chamberlain was introduced at a news conference on Friday. He also served as police chief for the LA Unified School District. If he is confirmed by City Council, he will lead a department that has faced allegations of racism and biased policing, and a department that is under a consent decree. Consider that a legally binding reform plan. He could be confirmed as chief without community input on his selection, and if City Council approves, he will be sworn in on September 9th. And the city of Boulder is down to 3 finalists for their new police chief. They are announcing finalists before picking one, and this week you can meet them. Tomorrow, Stephen Redfern, Leonard Redhorse, and Josh Wallace will be introduced at a community forum in City Council chambers at 6 p.m. The forum will be live streamed on the city's YouTube page.
On the heels of the Democratic National Convention, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, are headed to the Peach State. Harris and Walz will be kicking off a bus tour in Georgia on Wednesday, and the campaign says they will be meeting directly with voters. It will conclude with a rally in the Savannah area on Thursday. Walz will not be attending the rally. This will be the first time Harris and Walz campaign in the battleground state together.
The GOP vice presidential nominee, Senator J.D. Vance, was on NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday for a one-on-one interview with moderator Kristen Welker. In one portion of the interview, she asked him whether Donald Trump would sign a national abortion ban into law if elected.
Donald Trump's view is that we want the individual states and their individual cultures and their unique political sensibilities to make these decisions, because we don't want to have a nonstop federal conflict over this issue. The federal government ought to be focused on getting food prices down, getting housing prices down, issues, of course, where Kamala Harris has been a total disaster. So I think Donald Trump is right. We want the federal government to focus on these big economic and immigration questions. Let the states figure out their own abortion policy.
Federal authorities have charged a man from Memphis with making death threats against President Biden and Vice President Harris. According to the Department of Justice, 37-year-old Kyle Alton Hall also made threats against former President Barack Obama. Last month, Hall reportedly made those threats on X. He allegedly threatened to assassinate the three prominent leaders, and if found guilty, he could face up to 5 years in prison.
The CEO and founder of encrypted messaging service Telegram was arrested in France. Pavel Durov was detained at an airport in Paris on Saturday night. The 39-year-old billionaire had a warrant for his arrest on allegations Telegram was used for drug trafficking and money laundering. Investigators also allege that the site allowed content related to the sexual exploitation of minors to be shared. Western governments often criticize the platform for a lack of content moderating.
In world news, some of the most intense fighting in months between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon overnight. This is a look at the missiles flying over Israel's northern border. Hezbollah reported that they launched the attack in retaliation for Israel killing one of its top commanders last month. Israeli officials say they launched, quote, preemptive strikes, destroying thousands more rockets. Meanwhile, U.S. officials told several national news organizations Israel and Hamas still have not reached a ceasefire deal. This comes after extensive negotiations over the weekend in Cairo. Officials say that the talks will continue in the coming days.
It's been a weekend of wild weather in the U.S. This is new video from National Guard evacuations at Grand Canyon National Park. More than 100 tourists and tribal members were flown out after a flash flood hit there, trapping them in the area around a popular waterfall. Authorities also say they recovered the body of a woman who was swept up by floodwaters. According to the Park Service, she was not wearing a life jacket. Crews had been searching for her since Thursday.
New overnight, at least one person has been killed during a landslide in Alaska. Power lines and trees came crashing down in the town of Ketchikan Sunday. Evacuation orders are currently in place because officials say that another landslide is possible. Alaska's governor has issued a disaster declaration. Ketchikan's mayor says that he's never seen a landslide this bad in his 65 years of living there.
In the Pacific, what was Hurricane Honei is now weakening to a tropical storm. Forecasters say although it was moving away from Hawaii, it's still bringing heavy rain showers. So far, it's already brought up to 15 inches. It's also caused some damage, leaving thousands of people without power. A big concern as the storm passed through was wildfire concerns because of the intense wind. The National Weather Service has since canceled a red flag warning in parts of the island, saying rain eased those concerns.
Glad to hear they canceled the red flag warning there in Hawaii. If you might remember last September when there was the horrific wildfire on Maui, it was caused by a passing hurricane that produced those prolific winds in Hawaii. So glad to see that they canceled the red flag warning there, and hopefully things okay there in Hawaii for the most part. Meantime, here in Denver, 86 degrees today, mostly cloudy skies with some afternoon showers and storms around between about 3 and 7 p.m., probably more towards the front end of that window. Gusty winds, the main impact, and some brief downpours possible between about 3 and 7. Again, probably more like 3 and 5 p.m. Then those storms clear on out. That 7-day forecast. We're going to have more detail on this coming up in my full forecast in a couple minutes, but temperatures a little up and down as we head over the next couple of days.
Chris, thank you so much. Sky 9 right now giving us a live look of this breaking news scene that we've been covering all morning. You could see those storage units that were damaged because of the fire that happened just around 1 a.m. this morning. So I do want to let you know that that area, Arapahoe Avenue, east and westbound lanes right now are blocked off. Your best alternate route this morning if you're trying to avoid this mess, because you could see fire crews are on scene. Boulder police are also on scene. Baseline Road is going to be your best alternate route. Again, expect a lot of delays in that area. According to Boulder police, they say that area could be closed for several hours. Originally, they said 4 to 6 hours. It's looking like several more hours because, of course, they have to just clean up all the debris right here and everything that was damaged because of that fire inside of those storage facilities.
All right, Brianna, thank you. Applications for Denver's popular e-bike rebates are back this week. These always get snatched up very fast. And in June, the rebates were claimed in just 3 minutes. So you do have to be ready. The application process opens online at 11 a.m. tomorrow. If you meet income requirements, you can get up to $1,200 off an e-bike. There will be one more rebate release at the end of October.